My name is Stuart Hedley, Stuarthedley. And I want to thank all you selectees who are carrying on where we left off. And my words for you are, don't let your hat get too big for your head. And also learn to be humble. Don't let that chief position put a lot of pride in you. And remember, you have a responsibility for those above you and below you. So respect both groups. And I suggest you get to know those that are above you personally, know their first name and get a little bit of information of where they're from, when they became an officer or such. In the same way with the men below you, get to know them personally so that they can know that you're interested in them and not just the body. And I suggest making chief that you have a buddy that you can put your faith in, your trust in, and will be behind your back, whatever the situation may be. I had a buddy by the name of Eddie Huber. When I went swimming, we both went swimming. When we went ashore in shore patrol, we were together. And when we were working aboard ship, we worked together. And that way you have assurance that if anything happens to you, you fall or something, there's somebody right there to assist you. I had a policy, and that was I would never send a man out to do a job that I had not done myself. And I informed him that if I had to send them on a job I hadn't done, I would go with them. And I would do everything in my power to encourage them. And I had a system with a clipboard for every man that worked under me. And at nighttime, I would make up the job orders and put them on the clipboard with the man's name on it. And at quarters the next morning, I would pass out the clipboards to the men so they knew what job they were going to be working on. And I told them, when you finish your job, if I don't have another job for you, you can relax, you can wash clothes or sun yourself out on the deck. And I had a Navy album. And what I did, I asked the fellows that worked for me to write their name, their home address, and phone number. And I had about 45 names, because there were other fellows aboard ship that I associated with. And so later on, it paid big dividends, because after I was out of the Navy, married, and I was taking my wife on a honeymoon every 5 years. And for our 40th anniversary, I was going to take her to Norway, Sweden, Holland, and Denmark. But a buddy of mine came back from Denmark telling me that a cup of coffee was $5.50. So I asked him how much for a hotel room, $600 and up. So I told my darling wife, I said, honey, we're going to go to Plan B. Well, what's Plan B, Butch? I don't know yet. But I broke out my Navy photograph albums, and I saw those names, and I said, sweetheart, I got a brilliant idea. "What's that?" I said, "I'm going to write down 16 names of shipmates that I've served with, and we're going to visit them across the United States." I said, "For our 40th anniversary, we're going to tour the United States by car." So we did. And the first stop was in Grand Junction, Colorado. Grant Collard, who worked for me, and we stopped at his place at 7 o'clock in the morning. He almost fell down when he saw me at the front door. So we went all the way across country. We covered 43 states, 14,110 miles, and we visited all 16. Some of them were sickly, others were healthy, but they were overjoyed to see their former chief. And the last one I visited was in Long Island. And one of the other things that I did was, say for instance, a man made a mistake or did something wrong, and you're going to bawl him out. Well, no, you don't bawl him out. You take him aside. Don't do it in front of the group, but take him aside and first of all, praise him for the good things he does. Then use constructive criticism. Don't just say, "You're an idiot, you blew it." No, just explain to him how he could have done it a little differently and without having the failure. And that develops confidence in the leadership. Also, be willing to take time to help those below you be able to make the next step, the rate. I had one incident where we were in the South Pacific. I was aboard the Dash Shield. We were on our way to Japan, where we were going to then get orders to go to Korea, 1953. And I was asleep in Central Station on watch of the gyro. And 2 o'clock in the morning, I got a phone call. "Hedley, send one of your men up on the mast and yardarm to replace a recognition light." Well, I'd never done that. And I wasn't about to wake any of my men up. And I went down to the shop and I got my belt, put it on. I had my pouch with my tools, and also most of my tools were on a cord, so they couldn't fall off. And I got a lamp, and I went up the mast, out on the yardarm, pitch dark, and changed the light, got it all done, came back down, went back to the IC room, just falling asleep when I got a phone call. The executive officer called. He said, "Hedley, we told you to send a man up there. We didn't tell you to go." And I said, "Commander, I have a policy with my men that I'm not going to send them on a job that I haven't done myself." And I said, "I have never done anything like that. I got a commendation in my record for that." But that was one of the incidents where I took the initiative to do a job that I had not done before. To the LCS of Ron 1, my suggestion would be to realize that as a new chief, there are responsibilities But remember, with responsibilities go rewards.